last year, for the citizenship topic, we were focusing on youth unemployment and things like that. Me and my partner standing next to me. And we started doing some research about community service called PJ Services, and they help young people to become more motivated and gain aspiration, but there's only one, really, there's only that in Croydon. So I wanted to ask, how comes there's no more, there's not as much jobs and stuff like that, and groups like that that are helping young people to aim for their dreams and stuff? Yes.
Is what you're going to ask the line to what he's asking? Okay.
I think it's because students often rely on the benefits that come from the government. So I think whatever the unemployment benefits should be cut to encourage more students to get aspirations and do what they want in life instead of relying on benefits. So what do you think the council could do to show them the importance of them?
I don't work for the council, like I've already said, but I wouldn't go as far as, cutting benefits, because, it's not everyone's fault if they can't, because not everyone is academically able. Yeah, that's a good word. Not everyone, do you understand where I'm coming from? So to some people it might be beneficial, but I get the point that you're trying to make. But in terms of what Malik was saying about, groups to help them, motivate them, that's what we do in Sisterhood. And I know it's unfair because in Sisterhood it's only girls, but that's what we literally do. But what I encourage my girls is, I'm only one person. I can only say as much to an individual to encourage them. If you have that little bit of motivation at all as an individual, just a little bit of fire can set it off. But most of the problem is a lot of young people don't have it at all because their friends don't have it. So once you're hanging around with people that don't have no ambition, after school it's not compulsory to really go to college, so it is what it is. Once you're around the crowd that is like that, automatically you're going to be like that. So it's up to you as an individual. I went through that. I don't even know how to explain it, but the whole reason why Sisterhood came about is because when I was in school, which was 8 years ago, it's hard to believe, I know, so, which was 8 years ago when I was in St. Mary's, Sujaba is going to kill me, but, a lot of I think it was just when he had come, to become a head teacher, but before he came along, a lot of the focus with teachers and people that help out in the school was for kids that are behaving badly. There was sort of nothing for good kids. There was nothing for kids that were doing well, especially in terms of, I can't speak for boys obviously because I'm not a boy, but I can understand it as a girl. If you were having good grades, behaving well in class, you were on your own. And I thought to myself, well, that's a bit unfair because those are the kids that we need to encourage. Those are the kids that we need to say, do you know what? You're doing so great, you're going to be amazing when you come out of school. Do you understand where I'm coming from? A lot of the focus in the schools were for kids that are being excluded, like one girl said, kids that were making noise. If you're not making noise, you're not noticed. And I thought to myself, well, that's not fair, because I was a good, well, up to year 9. Up to year 9, I was really good. I had my head screwed on. So that's why Sisterhood came about, because I wanted to give young girls that opportunity as well that I didn't get. So this is coming from a young person who didn't really have, a group to motivate me. I had to motivate myself to set up that group. So again, it sounds very vague, but you as an individual need to sit down by yourself. Don't think about other people. What is it that I want to become? What is it that I want to do? Once you have that sort of picture in your mind, it's so easy for you to take the next step. Because once you have a dream, you're not going to be following no one else's dream. You understand where I'm coming from? So it's about you, the individual. I emphasize on that so much because seriously, there's so much that we can do. There's so much that we can lay out. Like I always tell my girls, there's so much I can do for you. But you as an individual person need to ask myself, as a young lady, as a young woman, what do I want to become? best luck. For those who want to better themselves in life and get somewhere, gain success and be looked up to in society, what is the government doing to motivate those people to further their education?
Anyway, good to be with you now. I think that's a really good question because the government has got a duty to support young people who are ambitious for themselves. And in my experience, young people are very ambitious, but they sometimes need a bit of a helping hand to get where they need to be. And I think some of the things the government's done recently, over recent years, are wrong, actually, because I think it puts young people off getting an education. So, for instance, they've taken away the education maintenance allowance, which used to be paid to young people over the age of 16, and it meant that young people from poorer backgrounds could afford to stay in education rather than have to go out to work. And I think it's important that all young people get the chance to stand in education, not just richer young people. Tuition fees as well at university, those were £3,000 a year originally, and that's quite a lot anyway, but the government has trebled them to £9,000 every year. And for a lot of young people, you're looking at £9, £18, £27,000 debt when you graduate from university. And for a lot of young people from ordinary backgrounds, that puts them off going, and I think that is too high and it needs to be reduced down to a lower level. So there's two areas where I think the government's got it wrong and we need change.
You asked a fantastic question. I think that personally, something still needs to be done to a certain extent because it's quite a lot of young people that's missing out. Especially the removal of the educational maintenance allowance in particular. There's quite a lot of people that were on it that's now lost it, and the young people who thought they could now apply for it, that opportunity's gone. And the reason why I say this is because, no, I'm not having children yet, but it's like, there's people I know that have children. There's people I know that have children, especially young ones in particular. I know this is what Kim was here. Especially young ones in particular, that's where it's hit them harder. Young parents, I will say in particular, because one of the rules were, when it came to the education maintenance, as far as I'm aware, was if you missed a lesson, if you go to college 5 days a week and you miss a lesson, you're not getting full stop period. If you're late, you're not getting it. The criteria was so tight. To be honest with you, in some respects, it was there. People would go and just register for the lesson and go home. But I think that it is affecting quite a lot of people. And as so like I said, I don't think it's right for people from not worse off, more richer backgrounds are able to get it. I think everyone that fits specific criteria should get it. And the reason why I said it is because everyone has their own different circumstances and situations in which they sometimes can't control. So I think that irrespective of how the government is helping young people to a certain extent, they're doing what they can so far, but more still needs to be done.
On the EMA one, although we've got rid of what was a national scheme, so it said if your parents earn this much, you get this. If your parents earn this much, you get this. If they earn this much, you get this. And actually, some quite wealthy families were getting help under that. People that were above average incomes were getting some help. Now, the government has put in an alternative scheme that was run by schools. There's not as much money in total as there was under EMA, so it is a cut, but it's not the case that nobody's getting any help anymore. And the idea is it's meant to be actually based on what the individual pupil needs. So it's not perfect, but there is something else there. The tuition fees one, again, it is a tough decision that was taken. But I would say this to you. The people that go to university are the top half, the top 50% go to university. And so what we've had is we've had a system where people that leave school at 18 and go into work are paying tax to pay for people that go to university who are going to earn good salaries. And if you're going to have to make savings, and I think we all agree what we want to do and build a fairer country, then I would argue that the real problem, the real area where we've got to spend more money is on very young children. And if you actually look at our school system, by the time all of you arrived at school, when you were 4 or 5 years old, there was already a 1-year gap in attainment between those that grew up in the wealthiest bits of the country and those in the least wealthy. So if you want to make a fairer country, that's where you've really got to put the money into that early years period. I'd just say one other thing, coming back to the point that was it Malik made about helping people to start their own businesses. So in a way, one of the things I'm particularly concerned about is not the young people that are doing well and are going to go to university, but actually we've got quite high youth unemployment in there, particularly in the Victoria, but in my constituency a bit as well. And that's not helped by the economic situation, but it's been a problem for quite a while actually. Youth unemployment was going up, even when the economy overall was doing well. So how do we help those people? And one of the things that Malik said was, well, rather than just giving people benefit, can you actually try and give people some help to start their own business and get on their own